Shane Gibson says Errol Spence, Manny Pacquiao could be next fight in 2023, not Keith Thurman. All right, y'all. So a lot of information coming out today regarding the big homie Manny Pacquiao, man, and the re-emergence of the Pac-Man. Not only that, information regarding Errol Spence Jr.'s next fight and who it could potentially be. Now, if you follow Manny Pacquiao, if you follow boxing, you should already know who Shane Gibson is. He is the longtime manager of the Pac-Man, Manny Pacquiao. And he had an interview in which he said a few key things regarding Manny Pacquiao's return to professional boxing, if and when it will happen, and who it will be against.
You know, all he said was he wants to see what happens December 10th. Kind of a test run to see how he feels, because he's training like this is Mike Tyson. He would never go into the ring unless he's 110%. But that said, see what happens.
All right, so y'all heard what Shane Gibson had to say. He said that Manny Pacquiao is training like he's preparing for Mike Tyson. And then you have to ask yourself a few questions. Why would Manny Pacquiao be training this hard for an exhibition fight versus someone who's never been in a boxing fight? Someone who's actually, I believe, a martial artist.
DK Yoo, who's a, in his field in the karate, the legendary guy.
It doesn't mean that DK Yoo doesn't possess some type of boxing skill or hasn't been training just as hard as Manny Pacquiao to prepare to try to beat Pacquiao. But you got to wonder, why is Pacquiao preparing that hard for someone who he should beat pretty easily? And one thing comes to mind, like Shane Gibson said, this is a preparation for Manny Pacquiao. This is a let me see where my skill sets are still at. Can I train this hard? Can my body still take all of this stuff at the age that I am? Not only that, do I still feel I want to do this as a profession? You know, boxers have to mentally be there. Boxers have to physically be there. But sometimes I think the mental part is more important than the actual physical part. And I think Manny Pacquiao wants to make sure that the mental side of boxing is still there. That training, focusing fully on training, something he hasn't done in a few years, man. It's been a while since Manny Pacquiao didn't have politics as something weighing heavy on his mind while he's training. And you could tell that it was affecting Pacquiao and his performance. I think Freddie Roach didn't like it. I think that a lot of people within Team Pacquiao didn't like the fact that boxing was now taking a backseat to politics, and they were seeing the results of politics effect on Manny Pacquiao's boxing career. Shane Gibson also had something else interesting to say.
And to go back to what you said, he was out of the ring 25 months. He was training to fight Errol Spence. He was training to fight Errol Spence, a completely different fighter than Ugas, who we never wanted to fight in the first place. A horrible style for Manny. And like you said, at the end of the day, that fight through 8 rounds was dead even. It was Manny. Dan Rafael had Manny like 7-4 going into the 12th. So Ugas was landing these like ooh punches, but if you go back and watch it and count the punches, Manny lit Ugas up. But he had these bigger moments that it looked like he was doing something. So at the end of the day, it wouldn't have been horrible if that fight was a draw or Manny 7-5. So with that said, he had a lot left after everything that happened over that time period.
He spoke about the Ugas fight and why he feels like the Ugas fight turned out the way it did. And a lot of what he said, it reflects what I've been saying the past few Pacquiao videos, is that Manny Pacquiao shouldn't have been in the ring with Ugas on 10-day notice. Manny Pacquiao never wanted to fight Ugas, and the preparation Manny Pacquiao went through was not for Ugas, which threw his game plan off by miles. And if you don't believe me, check it out for yourself. So what does that mean? You know, what does all this mean? Are we going to get an Errol Spence versus Manny Pacquiao fight in 2023? I believe there's a high probability, and I'm going to tell you why.
Again, all I can say is what Manny said come December 10th. You'll see how he, see what he can do, and basically anything to be visited.
There's no reason for Errol Spence to risk his 3 titles versus Keith Thurman. That fight comes with a nice payday, not a big payday, but a nice payday. It's easy for PBC to make, and it wouldn't take forever for them to make that fight. I believe Keith Thurman would agree to any terms that Errol Spence put out there. The problem with that is, why fight Thurman? Why take the risk? Thurman didn't give you the same opportunity when he was a champion. Not only that, there is a risk involved in the Thurman fight. What if you lose and then it goes back to exactly the way it was in the beginning, where Thurman was the champion and Errol Spence was trying to get that big shot? Let's say Keith Thurman beats Errol Spence. Does Keith Thurman give Errol Spence a rematch, or does he curve him again like he did in the beginning? These are the reasons I think that Errol Spence will stray away from Keith Thurman. He can't be trusted. He's not he's not the type of guy you want to put the rest of your career, you want to hang the rest of your career on. So why would you go after a Manny Pacquiao fight? Big money, big money, big money. There are huge dollar amounts involved in a Manny Pacquiao fight, believe it or not. I know a lot of people feel like, well, Ugas beat him, so how could that be big money still in a Manny Pacquiao fight? Manny Pacquiao comes with a whole country backing him. And those people purchase fights. Those people tune in to Manny Pacquiao fights. Those people support the Pac-Man. So it not only introduces Errol Spence to a whole new audience, but it adds more eyeballs and dollar signs to that long list of people that will be purchasing and tuning in to view that fight. Whether you're tuning in because you believe Errol Spence is going to knock out the legend Manny Pacquiao, whether you're tuning in because you believe Manny Pacquiao still has the skills to beat Errol Spence, whether you're tuning in just for the spectacle of the whole thing, an old guy versus a young guy, last generation versus new generation. There are all type of storylines that can be built around this fight, and I think a lot of people feel like Manny Pacquiao still has enough to at least challenge Errol Spence Jr. If not beat him, challenge him, give you a good fight, something memorable, something boxing fans haven't had in a long time. And since the younger generation of boxing doesn't seem too keen on challenging themselves, it would be a welcomed event for boxing fans who want to see a real challenge for Errol Spence Jr. Not to say that some of his fights haven't been good in the past, but there's nothing like going up against a guy like Manny Pacquiao. And for Errol Spence Jr., the reason I think he would take that fight instead of a Keith Thurman fight is because of the upside that comes with a Manny Pacquiao fight, the dollar amounts. It's going to send his pay-per-view buys through the roof. Not only that, silencing a lot of the critics who believed he ducked Pacquiao with the eye injury, as well as it's the perfect tune-up for Terrence Bud Crawford. Manny Pacquiao southpaw, Terrence Crawford is a switch hitter. It will put Errol Spence in position to dwarf the Terrence Crawford fight. Now, Terrence Crawford, I think, feels like because he's getting $10 million and that he's fighting on BLK Prime, he's introducing a new platform, that I think he feels like he's going to win off of that fight. But if Errol Spence fights Manny Pacquiao, who's actually winning in this scenario? Terrence Crawford ducked for David Anise and $10 million. Errol Spence Jr. went after what many people believe is still one of the top welterweights of today, a fighter that comes with a built-in fan base, a fighter that's going to make him probably upwards of $15 to $20 million for that fight, and a fight that is going to sell through the roof if it actually happens. So he has the opportunity to dwarf anything that Terrence Crawford felt like he was going to accomplish by getting that $10 million for David Anise and BLK Prime, and setting a new precedent for the boxing world by introducing a new platform. I believe that Errol Spence Jr. can conquer a whole new market and start a new wave in the sport of boxing by actually taking this Manny Pacquiao fight. Y'all let me know what y'all think about all that down in the comment section below. Will Manny Pacquiao fight Errol Spence Jr. in 2023? Most likely the first quarter. Hit that like button for me. Share. Subscribe. Holler at me on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. And we are Manny.
Let's go, 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 yo, it's sorta like NASCAR. How these niggas take wheels off of fast cars, we not right. About to shine like dandruff and neon lights. Know you feel the shit that we on, right? I got your bitch and she's on pipe, taking pictures of herself. And if you're really slanging, you're snitching on yourself. So look at it that way. Why I'm looking at your rat from the back way. Then I'm looking for a black in the ashtray. But if that black ain't freak, you can keep it thinking rap ain't heat. You was sleeping, I attack that beat. I'm the reason. Something hit your dome, now you're sleeping.